Hello there. My name is Kyle Kemage, and I am a lecturer in biological sciences here at Louisiana Tech University. I've been teaching and advising here since 2013. My main job is to teach students about important core concepts in biology. However, every quarter, especially after the first exam or two, I get very few questions about the Krebs cycle, for example, and many more questions about studying and just overall doing better on exams. Let me start by saying that the questions of how do I study or how do I learn are broad, complex, and they definitely do not have simple, straightforward answers. There are many different ways to successfully study and learn as there are students and learners. So you should not think of the advice I'm about to give in this video as a one-size-fits-all solution to all your problems or as a set of rules that you have to follow. But if you've been studying a certain way with certain habits and these have not been working out for you, think of the following as guidelines or suggestions on how to do things differently. To keep things simple, I can break these down into three main concepts: visuals, active studying, and context. Visuals. Many people are visual learners, meaning they best understand things when presented visually. Consider these two different ways of looking at Charmander. By the way, I'll be trying to avoid biology examples in this video, both for a sense of whimsy, but also because nothing about my advice is specific to biology. It should apply to any subject. But back to the examples. For many people, the image will be a lot more memorable than the text-only description. Even if the test you're studying for will ultimately have a question like this, with no pictures in the question at all, if you have a visual recollection of the subjects involved, you should be able to link the description to the correct visual. From there, it's a lot easier to match the description in the question to the multiple choice option that it is describing. But I don't want to suggest that text and visuals are mutually exclusive. There is nothing stopping you from having both together. So you get the more memorable image, but also the description in words that could use an important phrase, lizard-like, that you might not have appreciated from the picture alone. So how does this apply in practice to learning and studying? Well, it relates to notes. Probably the most common way students take notes is, whether typing or handwriting, 100% text. Here are a few student-submitted examples from a recent class of mine, as well as a page of my own notes from grad school from several years ago. And no, my handwriting has not improved much since then. Now, I don't want to imply that these notes are wrong. In fact, many of the students whose text-only notes are shown here got A's in my class. And hey, I got an A in the grad class with my text-only notes shown here. My point is that if a text-only note is not working for you, consider incorporating visuals into your notes. Here are a few examples of this, including another one of my own notes. For digital notes, you can use PowerPoint or other software to create these collages of text and images. For handwritten notes, you could simply print the slides provided to you by your professor and write your notes beside these images. There are many different ways to make this work, so get creative and give it a try. Active studying. When you think about the word study as a verb, what action do you picture? Probably stock images like these: flipping through pages of notes, swiping through questions on Quizlet, re-watching the recording of a lecture. These activities are better than nothing, but they're all forms of passive studying. Your brain isn't really engaging all that much as you read over the same passage of notes for the 10th time. Things tend to go in one ear and out the other. You can increase your retention by studying actively. That means actively doing something beyond just turning pages or reading. This could be rewriting notes, either word for word or by rephrasing them. Drawing diagrams. I know some figures and visuals can be quite complex, but you don't have to be a particularly talented artist to draw a phase of mitosis or a logistic growth curve. Engaging in discussion. While studying with others can sometimes prove more distracting than helpful, verbalizing what you have learned is a great way to study actively. These are just 3 examples. My point is that any method of studying in which you are actively writing, drawing, talking, or otherwise actively engaging in the concepts and ideas you are studying will be superior to the methods of passive studying. Context. While it might feel like the things you are studying are isolated factoids or simple vocabulary, the truth is that much of what you're learning is connected to a bigger picture. By breaking a complex concept or process down into micro facts to memorize, something that Quizlet and paper note cards are unfortunately very good at doing, you can lose sight of the context. This can make it a lot more difficult to remember and ultimately understand. Let's look at an example. If you get on the City of Ruston's website and navigate to the section on their recycling program, you'll see the following list of approved materials for recycling. Paper, colored paper, newspapers, bags, magazines, phone books, mail, paperboard, tissue boxes, toilet paper rolls, food packaging, shredded paper, milk cartons, books, catalogs, aluminum cans, plastic, and cardboard. What a list. Imagine trying to memorize all of that. Well, it's actually easier than it seems. All the items listed are generally recognized as recyclable. Obviously, food waste, soiled diapers, or yard waste are not recyclable. So, what could be recycled, but is not on the list? There are 2 really big ones: glass and plastic shopping bags. Now, you could just try to brute force these exceptions. All normal recyclables, no glass or plastic bags. But remembering this will be a lot easier if you look at the broader context of recycling collection. The way Ruston's recycling program actually works is that the collection truck drives by, grabs the bin, and then dumps its contents into its storage area. This ties into the visuals concept from earlier, but it's helping to see this action. Now, as the mixed contents of the recycling bin are being dumped, paper products and cardboard, for example, will fall into the truck. No problem. Plastic products will go too, same with cans. But picture what would happen with glass. It would be very likely to shatter on impact, or as it gets mixed with everything else. Broken glass is a dangerous hazard to anyone working with the contents of the truck. So it should make sense why glass would not be accepted. So what about plastic bags? Their issue is that they are lightweight, lighter than paper, and will not fall easily. During collection, they could get caught in the wind and blown away. And further down the line of processing, they tend to flutter around in the recycling processing facility too, potentially jamming up machinery. For this reason, they cannot be accepted along with everything else. Hopefully, you can see what I did here in this example. By showing the broader context of recycling, it should now be fairly logical as to why glass and plastic bags are not accepted. So, on a multiple choice question like this, it should be easier to think about the context of the process of recycling to arrive at the correct answer, C, rather than trying to recall the full list from memory. Don't get me wrong, brute force memorization does work for many things, but trying to understand the facts in context will generally be a lot easier for most students. Now, I know I said there were 3 main concepts here, but there is also a 4th bonus concept: using the resources available to you. This will vary widely from course to course, but if, for example, the class you're studying for has practice quizzes online, take them. If there is a textbook for the course that you have access to, along with resources like McGraw-Hill Connect or Pearson Plus, for example, use them. Some professors may require quizzes or assignments from these, but even if they're completely optional, they might be worth doing. If you're stuck on a concept that's just not making sense to you, your professor should have office hours listed in their syllabus. Use them. Louisiana Tech University also has resources to you as a student. We have a team of student retention specialists. Their job is to assist students who are struggling in a variety of ways. Each college at the university has a different retention specialist, but they all have the same job: to help you succeed. Another resource is the Bulldog Achievement Resource Center, or BARC. They offer tutoring in a variety of classes, as well as a writing center for assistance with writing assignments. It's all free. Use it. It's possible that you are struggling in a particular class because you just don't connect with the subject matter. If the class is an integral part of your major, it's possible that you need to rethink things on a broader level. The Career Center can help you navigate this and get you in a program of study that is right for you. Finally, I want to acknowledge that school is not the only thing going on in a student's life. Struggles with family, relationships, stress, anxiety, and depression will have an impact on your academic performance. Tech's counseling services is here to help you with these kinds of issues. Like all of these university resources, it's completely free for students, so don't hesitate to reach out. In conclusion, let me conclude with the same sentiment I began with. There are many different ways to study, and no one method is correct for everyone. I just hope that this video has given you some ideas that you can try out, and I wish the best for you in the future.